No, you're not imagining things. Yes, I'm wearing glasses. Apparently, I'm nearsighted in the one eye, farsighted in the other, so I had to get like different lenses, and it's a little bit weird for me too. Today we're looking at the Lorgar Azar 514. So Lorgar sent me the Azar 514 and asked me to give you what my initial impressions and what my thoughts on the keyboard are. Starting off with the unboxing, it was actually a really fun experience. Everything was really neatly packed. The keyboard came in a dust cover, and there were some presents in the box, of which one of them was hand warmers, which are supposed to get your hands ready for gaming. That was very new. I've never experienced this before, so that was kind of new and exciting. My initial thoughts of the keyboard was there was a lot of attention to detail given in the construction or thought-making process around this keyboard. A great example of this is there are rubber stoppers on the 6 and the 9-degree kickers, so no matter which kicker you're using, the keyboard is not going to slide. Next, there was a good and robust feel to the keyboard as a whole. The magnetic cover or shroud was definitely a surprise for me. I actually thought that I had broken it when I pulled it off, but I noticed that it's actually kept on with magnets so that you can have the unit either in white or in black. So overall, my initial impressions were good. Let's move on to the specs. Spec-wise, first up, it's a full-size keyboard, 104 keys, and the base of the keyboard is aluminium or aluminum. It uses linear dream or purple switches, which seems to be Lorgar's proprietary technology. The gram press per key is 40 grams with a 2mm actuation point. Next, it has fully customizable RGB, which is enacted through its own Lorgar software. Lastly, it is a USB-C input. It actually comes with 2 cables, which are USB-C input into the actual keyboard, but are output into USB-A into the PC. Let's talk about testing and actually utilizing the keyboard. First up are the keycaps. The keycaps for me were very different. They were very solid and very thick, but I don't know if I actually liked using them. The switches were okay, and I do give them a passing grade, but they were a little bit sticky for my liking. For those about sound, the switches are not blue loud. They're actually not loud at all. The noise that you hear when coming from a typing test, which we'll go into now, is from the keycap hitting the plate, which is maybe why I was on the fence about the keycaps in the first place. The magnetic cover or shroud did tend to get in the way, for me at least, especially when I would sit down and aggressively move the keyboard into the best gaming position for me. I felt that it would lift or move a little bit, so I ended up taking it off, but this may be different for different users who move their keyboard a little bit more gently. Next, cable management for me was actually really great because you get 2 cables. You get the springy cable as well as the normal cable, and you can orient it in either frontal, left or right, so I had no issues in being able to orient it to the left, the right, depending on what your setup was. So that's a massive plus for me in this keyboard. Lastly, on testing, the software was a breath of fresh air because it was simple, straightforward, and to the point. It picked up and identified the keyboard with absolutely no issues. Changing the RGB was relatively easy. I found it cool that you could key map any single key. You could make an O an I a 6, and so on and so forth. And the macro editor was also easy to use. Overall, really like the software and its simplicity. Now, the price does tend to hit you like a truck all the way to the conclusion. The conclusion is that this keyboard is going to or does retail for around about 1699 in Rand, apparently around about 89 euros. In dollars, it would be relatively the same, which puts it up there with its competing tier 1s, your SteelSeries Razors and Logitechs. However, that's why I've given my objective view on the keyboard, the things that I liked and didn't like, because a lot of keyboards come down to objectivity and the user using it. Someone might pick up this keyboard and go, this is the best keyboard I've ever used personally for me, and some might not. It's just going to depend on the actual user. And that's where I end. I think it's a really good start from Lorgar, especially the cool unboxing experience, but I do put this keyboard at around about 999 to 1199. But again, objectivity. Hope you enjoyed the review. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers. Goodbye.